Welcome back, loves, to Creating Your Desired Reality with expert self mastery mentor and educator, Venus Scott. All right, y'all ready to get into it? Let's get into lesson five, master lesson five, understanding sensory input and managing external stimuli. Remember last week, masterclass, we discussed cognitive reprogramming, shifting our limited beliefs. And if you remember, one of the things that I said is how our reality is created. So, what we think shapes our identity, what we think shapes our perspectives and our perception. So, this is the way it works. If you remember the diagram, what we think creates the specific chemicals that are being released in the mind and then to the body, creating how we feel. And how we feel is predicated upon what we think. So when we move from thinking to the chemical releases to the way we feel then dictates our actions. And it is in our actions that create our reality. And so in order for us to be put to get in position to align ourselves with things, people, places, opportunities, money, wealth, whatever it is, into alignment with those things, we must begin to mentally reprogram our dominant mental database, all of the limited beliefs that is holding us back from having and creating a limitless belief system that is aligned with what we now want. So, in this lesson, we're going to be discussing another aspect of what also heavily influences our behaviors, and that is the fundamental lesson of external stimuli. So, our objective in this lesson is to learn how sensory inputs, this is what we see, what we touch, what we taste, what we hear, and what we feel, shape our thoughts and our manifestation abilities. So, we all have heard we have five senses. Well, that's not totally correct. We actually have more than that, but five are our primaries. And then we also have the most important aspect of our sensory, which is inner sense, right? And so our inner sense doesn't rely on external stimuli. However, when we're constantly being influenced and only feeding and dictating what we do and how we perceive and how we engage with what we see, what we hear, what we taste, what we feel, and what we smell, we miss strengthening our innocence. Also, that's where our intuition is. That's where our internal guidance system is. That's where our soul and our spirit is. So when we understand this and put all of these elements together, and don't I don't want you to misunderstand me. I know you're saying, wow, this may be a lot up until this point. However, don't rush yourself, just pace yourself. That's why it's called Creating Your Desired Reality. Go at your own pace. So please don't get overwhelmed. But this information is absolutely necessary for you to become a master manifester, because you already are. These lessons are just teaching you the fundamentals of all the pieces of the puzzle that you need to bring your dreams, hopes, and goals into fruition. So, sensory inputs are the information we receive from our environment through our five senses. I'm going to include our six senses, our inner sense, our sense, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Every moment our brains processes these inputs, which shape our thoughts, they shape our emotions, they shape our feelings and our behaviors. So while most sensory inputs operate unconsciously, they also significantly influence our mental state. They significantly influence our heart. They significantly influence our state of being, our frequency, our auras, our energy, ultimately leading to the way our manifesting is affected. So this is extremely, extremely important, my loves, right? So in sensory inputs, take a look at the diagram. Our sensory inputs, the way we manage them, the way we articulate them, the way we process them, whether we are in the knowing or we are in the not knowing of what we're doing and why we're doing it, the way we experience the sun, the way we experience nature, the moon, nighttime, the way we look and perceive and sense our environment, our home. It affects how we view TV, how we look at TV, how we view friends. It affects the atmosphere, the universe. It affects us while we're working. It affects nature, the music we're listening to. All of these things are a part of us being overwhelmed with sensory input because there's always something going on, right? There's always something going on. We're constantly seeing image. This is why subliminal messages are incredibly important. This is why marketing is incredibly important because it's one of the devices that they've used to trick us out of our power, is subliminally putting all types of imagery and messages in our minds, in our hearts, in our souls, and we unconsciously are always turned on. So there's no such thing as not seeing what we've seen, not hearing what we've heard, not being able to process what we've touched or what we felt. So can you imagine a pileup in our hearts, the pileup in our minds, the pileup in our souls, our spirit? All of the TV and the shows, with the work environment, the bosses, the managers, the co-workers, even in nature, natural disasters, the friends and family we have around us. These external environments that we immerse ourselves in can either support or hinder our manifestation process. This is another reason why I say one of the key things and steps and processes in positioning yourself to become the manifestor that you were created to be is limiting your consumption. What do I mean? Not just consumption of food, loves, limiting your consumption of people, places, friends, things, music, TV, movies, food, even. And sometimes it can be your environment, work. Now, some things take a little bit longer to navigate or create an exit plan, right? It's not impossible to create an exit plan because this is what we do when we're uncomfortable with something, when something is no longer benefiting us according to where we are in our season. Okay, so sometimes we just can't up and leave. There's children involved, there's family involved, there's money involved, there's a whole bunch of things that are involved. So I understand that currently some of our environments is not conducive, it's not healthy. Some of our family and friends are not healthy, they're not benefiting us. They are subtracting from us. They are draining us. Our works, our jobs, even some of our businesses, it is sucking the very life force out of us. And that, my loves, is why we create an exit plan. So I get that certain things cannot instantly, simultaneously happen. I get it. However, it's necessary. It's very necessary. For example, constantly consuming negative news. Oh, don't we get enough of that? We're constantly hearing about how our brothers and sisters are being pewed. You know what I'm saying? Unalived. I'm saying unalive like I'm on TikTok. But y'all get what I'm saying. We're seeing our babies mistreated, abused, being unalive, transitioning way before their time. We're seeing loved ones go through all type of turmoil. We're seeing nature go through its transitional seasons. We're seeing so many things. Just look at the music that we're listening to now, that they're promoting now, that they keep pushing in our ways. The news, the toxic social media. Look at social media. And it's not social media fault. It's not the media's fault. It's not the music industry fault. It's not our parents' fault. It's not the music industry, it's not the people, it's not the work. Let me tell you something, because at our mature age, it is our responsibility to make sure that we are where we need to be, in the most healthiest of mind state, the most healthiest in our heart state, the most healthiest in our mental state, the most healthiest in our spiritual state. This is important. Our surroundings, what are we surrounding ourselves with, right? Let's go back to the toxic social media content, minimizing our consumption, our surroundings. What are we surrounding ourselves with? The negative people, the low vibrational people, as many like to say, right? with low frequencies, low energy. In contrast, curating positive, high frequency vibrations, our sensory inputs get elevated instead of de elevated, right? Our emotions get aligned. Our feelings are in alignment with that which we now want: happiness, peace, joy, whatever it is, forging healthy relationships, whatever it is we desire, it will support the manifestations. Therefore, we are in alignment with it. Remember, the universe don't just magically give us something just because we say we want it. Alignment requires us to get in alignment. Alignment means we are in align with whatever it is we want. That's the key. And that's what many people aren't telling you, that is out here, man. Just let me be careful. Let me be careful. I ain't gonna go there, right? But we need to be mindful, and we need to be careful who we're listening to, okay? Because everything we consume helps to shape what we become. And a lot of us have became people that we do not like today in this time, because we've allowed ourselves to consume too much of what we were never purposed to consume for long durations of times in the first place. So what are our key takeaways? Excuse me, right? By becoming more aware of and managing our sensory inputs, the external, taste, touch, hear, sight, smell, and seeing, and our inner sense, our intuition, in tune with ourselves, we can intentionally curate an environment that supports our new way of life, our new mental programs, our positive thoughts. Because even when it ain't good, baby, it's good. Our feelings, emotions, energy, enhancing our ability to manifest whatever we want. Everything is matter. This is why they say mind over matter. Not only that, mind creates matter. Mind creates matter. Mind creates matter. There is nothing physical that is not materialized without it first being in the mind first, being in the cosmos first. So if anything is tangible, it was created in the mind first. So when we become more aware, we intentionally position ourselves to now increase the magnitude of our magnets, which is in our hearts, and we draw those things to us. Repeated exposure to specific stimuli strengthens or weakens the corresponding neural circuits. Remember, we talked about our neural circuits, our neural pathways, how they fire and wire, right? Or they're not firing and wiring. Let me say that again. Repeated exposure to specific stimuli strengthens. Remember, it's in the game of tug of war. The stronger the program, the stronger the effects. Or it can weaken the corresponding neural circuits. So, what we see every day, what we hear every day, what we speak every day, what we taste every day, what we feel every day matters. And so the question is, how bad do you really want what you want? Are you willing to not sacrifice? Not sacrifice. Remember, perception plays a key role in what we manifest. Just because we are shifting some things around, we are replacing some things, it doesn't have to be a sacrifice, baby. But what are you willing to reposition? What are you willing to shift in order to position yourself in alignment to get what and who you want? The brain processes sensory input from the external world and uses them to create our neural pathways. These pathways influence our thoughts, feelings, and our behaviors. Okay, now, this was a big one. I want y'all to remember this. Now, y'all know we ain't going nowhere without doing our lesson quick quiz. Come on, quick quiz, quick quiz. Don't forget to take some time and do answer these 4 questions. Okay, it only takes a little bit. This is how we strengthen our knowledge. This is how we consistently, reprogram our minds. Consistency breeds mastery, my loves, not perfection. Consistency breeds mastery. So be sure to make sure you are challenging yourself and testing your knowledge, okay? And you should find that exercise on page 42 in your creating your desired reality curriculum book, okay? And the don't leave now. The exercise, let's not forget the exercise. Let's reinforce. I'm going to say this again. Let's reinforce the information by putting what we've learned into your own words. Take a couple of minutes and write down what your perception is about this lesson. Sensory input, sensory output, external, internal. Okay, take 5 minutes. Don't worry about the spelling, don't worry about the grammar, just get it down. Okay, challenge yourself and make sure to reward yourself, because if you are listening to this, this means that you not only invested in yourself, you are actively getting into alignment, positioning yourself. Keep going, baby, keep going. I promise you, your reward is going to be granted. So, like always, I'll see you in the next lesson.